Hello Snimnuts, I'm the animator reviewer. After taking a look at some of the worst television has to offer, I decided to do something a bit different and look at My Little Pony again, with one of my favorite things to ever come out of the franchise. It's smart, it's funny, it's well written, it's just so brilliantly good. I am of course talking about Sleepless in Ponyville. This episode is just so... Wait a minute. That's not a clip from Sleepless in Ponyville. Oh dear God, what am I reviewing? No. Give me a minute.
One eternity later.
Okay. As it turns out, I'm kinda stuck here until I either analyze an episode of Friendship is Witchcraft or die of starvation. It was a coin flip. Let's just get this over with. Friendship is Witchcraft is an abridged series by Sherlock Poems based on My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. An abridged series is a show that takes episodes of an already established series and parodies them in a short form medium. Good examples for MLP would be the Mentally Advanced series and Ultra Fast Pony. Bad examples would be Scooter Tricks Bridge and Chronicles of Friendship. Despite being very popular, FIW is one of those shows that's loved by audiences but hated by critics. As a critic, I think it's, well, awful. I think it's absolutely awful. It's less funny than an Adam Sandler movie. It's worse written than a Shyamalan film. Its very existence is a mockery of comedy, a bridge series, My Little Pony, the characters it fucks up, YouTube, the internet, and me. I would rather sit through a Red Room live stream. I would rather punch myself in the face until I pass out. I would rather have my dick sliced off by ninjas. I would rather marathon every episode of SpongeBob from the movie onwards. Friendship is Witchcraft is fucking witchcraft within itself. If anything, I wish it would curse me after I watch it. That way I wouldn't have to live in a world that allowed FIW to exist. It fucking sucks. With that said, let's take a look at the first episode, The Perfect Swarm, and figure out what is wrong with it. AKA everything.
Eat it, get yourself an egg and beat it. Have some more chicken, have some more pie, it doesn't matter.
So the episode starts with, wait, already? That's gotta be an Academy record. I mean, I already found a problem with this? Like, that was supposed to be scientifically impossible. This is scientifically impossible. As the first episode of this abridged version of My Little Pony, they chose to use episode 10 of the original show? Seriously? Said episode is Swarm of the Century. It's okay. Not having too many good jokes and a not really interesting plot. It's not great in any sense of the word, but it's far from being bad. So of course it's a perfect episode to start off on. Oh come on, even bad abridged series know better than this. For your first episode, work on the first episode of the original show. The only exception would be with Mentally Advanced series, where they use the third episode, which is understandable if they wanted to skip the two-parter. Not to mention that episode has enough of each of the main characters to really work. Swarm of the Century doesn't. Granted, FIW could have picked a worse episode, at least all the main characters are actually in this. Given to the right person, it could have totally worked. But do you really think someone who chose to have the word Pones in their name is really the right person? Getting back to the episode, we see Fluttershy in the meadow picking flowers.
Like fire, hellfire, this burning in my skin.
I'm sure Disney Fanatic 2364 really appreciated that. She comes across a creature she calls a demon spawn because taking the quiet, nice, shy one of the group and making her the sadistic fuck is super clever and not obvious in the slightest. And that's a trend with this series. It takes each character and makes them into their opposite. Twilight's oblivious. Pinkie makes Pony scared. Rainbow's...
This is so unrainbow. Rainbow! Rainbow!
A Pokemon, I guess. And as cute as this joke is for a little while, it quickly wears thin. As soon as it does, the joke stops being funny and instead comes off as kind of stupid and obvious. A good parody would be a Mentally Advanced series. There, the characters keep their personalities, but they're pushed to such an extreme that it creates a whole new character apart from the original series. There, Twilight is so smart that she thinks of herself as being above all their shenanigans. Fluttershy is so shy that ponies constantly forget that she's even a character. Rainbow Dash is so needy and stupid that others find her annoying while she constantly asks for their attention. This is a good parody. Hell, you can do the whole opposites thing, but you need to know how to use it well. In Spaceballs, Darth Vader, a menacing and intimidating figure, is replaced with that dweeb from Ghostbusters. That, in of itself, isn't very funny for very long. The really funny part of it is that he is given all the intimidation Vader had despite the fact that he's clearly not as dangerous. That is what makes him funny. The ones in FIW aren't very funny or original, and none of them are ever taken far enough or put into an extreme that would make them funny, nor do they keep something from the original character that would contrast with their new personality. This is the pony equivalent of taking the color white and making it gray. It's just not funny. And whenever they do come up with something new for the character, like Spike being fat or Rarity liking large hats, they force it onto their personality just by stating it as many times as possible. As if it's yelling at me. We don't know if there's going to be an episode 2 yet, so we have to tell you that this is a character now several times in case you forget. Because that's a character now. Did you notice that that's a character now? Because that's a character now. Did I mention that that's a character now? Because that's a character now. Get ready to hear this 20 more times within the next minute. It's not funny, it's just annoying. The episode goes on as Fluttershy.
Oh, did you find a new friend? I killed it.
If something that requires at least 2 brain cells to write doesn't happen, I'm just gonna skip the rest of the scene.
Very good. The conditioning worked.
Alright. Soon after, we get the title card. Seriously? Fucking seriously. That's your title card. Like, and I can't find one anywhere else, so I guess that counts as your theme too. You know, shows like Regular Show and The Amazing World of Gumball, whose themes and title cards are just text in front of a picture, at least they have a goddamn picture. Yours is just fucking text. I can do this. See? If anything, let's bring out the title card I did make for this episode. Just real quick, I want to see something. Can you believe this? Can you understand what this could possibly mean? It means I put more effort into this review than they did making what I'm reviewing. Yes! Woo! Just look at this. Everything about it intrigues me. The terribly done transition into it, the stupid decision to leave caps lock on, the boring choice of font and color, the music that sounds like someone swallowed a trumpet and those are their farts, the fact that even though it's only on for exactly 5 seconds, it somehow both overstays its welcome and is the best part of the episode. It's crap, but at least it's not ruining something I love. It's something they had to make themselves in under 12 seconds. 12 seconds of shitting themselves instead of shitting on Milo Pony. Can the rest of this review just be me analyzing this title card like it's modern art? Nah, you guys will probably kill me, if you won't already. We cut to Twilight and Spike picking up books in the library because we're 54 seconds into this and we haven't been introduced to an unfunny running gag yet. As a side note, the voice of Reason, who also did a great review of the series, I definitely recommend it, complained that it used scenes from the show that had the credits. I disagree. If they think there's a joke to be had with the scene, or if that's just what works best with the dialogue they've written, they should use it. My problem is that those jokes aren't funny and that dialogue is terribly written.
Oh, I wish you would stack more than 3 at a time.
That's the retaining wall. She can't just sleep in the guest room. Princess Celestia requires a fortress of knowledge.
I know, but your blueprint is just a crude sketch and a bad pun.
Hey, at least it's not just text in front of absolutely nothing. And as a fan of terrible puns, even I don't think this is very funny. And it's a running gag! As the episode goes on, Spike and Twilight come up with other names for this book fort. And if that's not bad enough, it's not even the only running gag in the episode. We still haven't seen Rainbow Dash just yelling Rainbow Dash, ponies randomly saying talk about eye candy, the wah-wah trumpet, randomly cutting back to Bon Bon watering her flowers, other goddamn false ponies are making, and there's probably more that I just didn't even notice. And no, not a single one gets even the slightest of a giggle out of me. It shouldn't be that hard to make me laugh at a running gag. Here, look.
Yikes, looks like I need a distraction. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Conway Twitty.
See? I laughed. And even Family Guy fans don't like that joke. For a critic, I am very easy to please. Just try.
Ugh, talk about eye candy.
I should have just waited for death. And don't worry, I know there's supposed to be parodies of unfunny running gags in other shows, and they're supposed to not be funny. First of all, yeah, sure, and Kanye West doesn't like fingers up his ass. Secondly, even if I bought that poor excuse as their original intention, there's no need to have these many running gags happen this often. I've counted 33 times in this one episode that they make a joke that's a running gag. That's one every 25.21 seconds. And I didn't even calculate it for every time a character stated a personality trait, which is technically a running gag. Putting that in, it'd be a running gag every 16.64 seconds. That is literally insane. As in, I went insane having to count them all. And the truly funny thing is that I'm pretty sure I missed a few. I'm starting to lean towards every joke in this being a running gag, considering they're running gags on my life. Thirdly, if you wanted to make a statement on running gags, you picked the wrong show. MLB isn't known for having tons of them. It's not Family Guy or The Simpsons. They have plenty, this has few. Lastly, well, this is kind of a secret among comedians, so you might want to get closer to your computer. I could get in serious trouble for spilling these beans, okay? You see, saying a joke is not supposed to be funny, surprisingly, doesn't make it funny! Yeah, always a shock of that one, isn't it? Finding out that if I say something random like bananas on rye, followed by, hey, it's supposed to be not funny, is about as effective as saying it's just a prank, bro. Now that we know these jokes aren't funny in the slightest, let's analyze why they aren't funny. First of all, context is one of the most important parts of comedy. If I created a character that's afraid of waffles, that wouldn't be very funny. But if I told you he's afraid of waffles because one killed his father, it can be very effective. The reason is because now you know why, you understand the character more, and by doing so, it becomes less random and more of something that makes logical sense. But still kinda silly. After all, rule number 1 of comedy, random doesn't equal funny. So of course, we are given absolutely no context to any of these jokes. Why does Rarity like Hat so much? Why is Bon Bon just watering her flowers? Why does Rainbow Dash talk like Timmy?
Dinner! 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 Oh, dinner! 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 Dinner!
The very least they could do is give a reason why they keep using these running gags. Like, whenever someone mentions food, they say talk about eye candy. But instead, it just happens at random moments. Oh, the town's being destroyed? Talk about eye candy. Fluttershy enters the room? Talk about eye candy. Fucking anything? Talk about fucking eye candy. Could you imagine that if at random moments in time I just throw in a random joke like... Oh.
Of course!
Actually, that transitions pretty well into my next point. Ever wonder why I keep using that clip but never letting it play out? Well, that's because comedy works in threes, as in, you can only use a joke the same way 3 times while still having it be funny. I know you all have already seen Nostalgia Critic and God knows who else make that joke, so I messed with it in order to have it still seem fresh. Friendship is Witchcraft completely ignores that rule. They keep on telling the same joke again and 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 again without changing it in any way. Just for context, they make the Spike is bad joke 12 times. Being nice, I'll say they changed it up about 3 times. Even if the joke was funny to begin with, making it so often with no change would have killed it. Lastly, even if I buy that it's supposed to not be funny, there's no proof of that in the episode. They all just say talk about eye candy and expect you to go in already knowing it's supposed to be unfunny. Without doing something with the joke to make it obvious that it's a parody of unfunny running gags, it just comes off as another unfunny running gag to the audience. It's just like that piece of shit sitcom, Hell Honey I'm Home. When it was conceived, it was supposed to be a spoof of other sitcoms, but because it thought having Hitler in it was enough, it didn't do anything different from any other dumb sitcom, and it just came off as one rather than a parody. A good way of telling a running gag is like in the Ultra Fast Pony episode One Joke to Rule Them All. In it, Wakar parodies FIW by doing the most infamous running gag of the series, talk about eye candy. Except there, it's funny. First, there is context. He's doing an abridged version of the same episode as in Friendship is Witchcraft. Of course he's going to reference it. Secondly, he does make it clear that's a parody of the same joke in FIW by A, having the one telling the joke be represented by pathetic Twilight failing to make friends, and B, having everyone scold Twilight for telling such a lame joke. And lastly, he does change it up. Of course, he has ponies make fun of it to mess with the joke since we already know it from FIW. Not only that, but as soon as the joke seems to become dull again, he changes it again to Celestia saying it and everyone laughing their asses off. And even that makes sense since Celestia is a higher power and they could all only be laughing because they're afraid of what she could do to them. That is how you do a funny running gag of this nature. Oh god, I'm not even halfway through this episode. Okay, Twilight tells Spike to build the book fort while she's out making sure everyone is set for the princess's visit to Ponyville. As she does so, she comes across a banner saying, "Welcome Princess Molested." Wait! I want to make fun of the fact that it made such an obvious joke, but I keep on being distracted by all the audio cutouts. The only compliment I hear any critics give to this series is that the editing's great. For the most part, I agree. But the audio keeps on cutting in and out so obviously they don't even try to hide it.
I know! But
Take it down and save it for next week. That's bizarre and ominous. This is the second time I've seen one multiply.
Actually, the audio in this episode is really bad. There's constantly noise in the background just there to annoy you. The cartoon sound effects are so over and misused. And in this scene, there's supposed to be 4 voices, but I can only make out 2 or 3. Or maybe they're also commentaries on the blah blah blah.
What's going on here?
We made a welcoming banner.
What the fuck kind of voice was that?
Banner.
You know what? Screw the title card. Can I just analyze this voice for the rest of the episode?
Banner. Banner. Banner.
Twilight stops by a few unfunny running gags before finding her way to the Sugar Cube Corner. Or, as I assume they call it in this, talk about eye candy. Twilight goes in and finds Pinkie Pie and Mrs. Cake.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Cake. Do you have your act together?
well, we were building a cake fort for the princess, but Pinkie Pie is taking over.
Actually, that's another audio problem I have with this. Everyone sounds the same. I get that most everyone is voiced by Jenny Nicholson, but do they seriously need to sound like they are? Let me put it like this. Twilight Sparkle, Bubbles, Raven, Timmy Turner, Dill Pickle, Ben Tennyson, and like 600 other characters are all voiced by Tara Strong. Are you ever going to mistake any of their voices for another? And yet Nicholson is here sounding like Adam Sandler in 8 Crazy Nights. I'm a new character. I'm a new character. I'm a new character. Hey, you need a new character? Get out! Oh, did I hear someone needing a character? You're not helping me prove my point. Soon, Felicia comes in to show off how far she can slide.
Watch how far I can slide.
Oh yeah, we're totally not at a loss for new lines to replace the original here. Okay, maybe I'm being a bit too hard on this. Here's a compliment. The lip syncing is fantastic. In a show like Ultra Fast Pony, they'll make fun of how poorly made the show is and leave it at that. In Friendship is Witchcraft, I'll have to admit, they have legitimately good editing. Of course, it's paired with a shitty script, but at least there's something good in this. But uh-oh, the creature multiplied and now there's 3. Twilight takes one while Pinkie warns them that this is bad. God damn it, that's another compliment I have to give this series. This is more apparent in later episodes, but FIW does usually do a good job at critiquing the source material. As for Swarm of the Century, Pinky keeps just doing shit without telling her friends what's up. In The Perfect Swarm, they fix that by having Pinky say exactly what she's doing and why, while still having her friends ignore her. But to be harsh, I get why they didn't do that in the original now. It gets kind of annoying and kind of frustrating seeing how they should honestly know better. I get that may be what they were going for, but that doesn't make it much better. Twilight goes to Candlelight Boutique, where she finds her pear spray has multiplied as well. Rainbow and Rarity each take one. That'll be $5.
Oh, I wish Spike hadn't spilled glitter everywhere.
Alright, that was a kind of clever joke. Not very funny, but clever nonetheless. She goes to bed and wakes up to find that her tree has been Gremlin/Star Trek.
I don't get it. We didn't have any guests last night. We just watched Gremlins and an episode of Star Trek and went straight to bed.
Don't waste the effort, I've already made the joke. We cut to Rarity using the pear sprays as slaves.
You little things will be much cheaper than those children overseas.
Fine, that was actually a pretty funny joke. 1 point to friendship is witchcraft, and 396 to that noose. But after finding out they procreate via vomit, she sets out to get rid of them via Louis Vuitton.
I don't have time for your tacky nonsense. You don't understand. I'm getting
Looking for answers, Twilight, Rarity, and Rainbow go to Fluttershy since she's the animal one. This episode better end quickly before I run out of jokes to use my Swarm of the Century review. The whole scene reminds her of that scene earlier, but she remembers it completely wrong, showing Spike as a bad guy. Again, it's clever, but not funny. It's probably because it lacks purpose. She just randomly has a flashback and learns nothing from it. There was really no point in having it outside of that joke. Plus, the scene uncovers another problem with the series. Everyone is too mean to Spike. I mean, what did he do? Without a reason, it feels more like these ponies are ganging up on the poor fella. The effect being less, haha, he totally had it coming, and more, ah man, I feel bad for that guy. To make a joke like this work, you need a reason. I don't care what the reason is, just give me a goddamn reason to laugh instead of feel bad for him. Soon after, Applejack comes in and they all make her do their dirty work.
All right, every pony, I've got a plan. We'll gather up all these critters and roll them over into the next town. You two will be our bird's eye candy view. Make sure there are no witnesses.
Rainbow.
Get some!
God, I would so much rather be playing Super Mario 64 right now. As you can see, they get them all into a ball and roll it into the next town over.
We'll just push our ball of troubles away to the next town over. Then they'll be their problem, not ours. Just like the homeless. Or pollution.
Ha! Oh, fine. That's 2 points to friendship is witchcraft. And 928 to the half-broken bottle. Getting back, they find Fluttershy's cottage full of pear sprites, and she blames Pinkie Pie in her foreign ways.
Using her gypsy magic. Her evil gypsy magic. Me? Gypsy? I'm not a gypsy. I'm a pastry chef. Those aren't even similar. Or are they?
I don't know about being a gypsy, but I can tell you that Granny's cookies are unlawfully delicious.
She's a few shotguns short of a wedding.
What? The pear sprites eat all the food in Ponyville until Twilight casts a spell that accidentally makes them eat everything but food. Man, do I feel bad for their digestion system. As the town panics, Twilight makes shitty references to shitty memes.
It'll all be secret, but fun.
And just as Celestia comes near, Pinkie gets rid of all the pear sprites by playing Friday. Here, I'll update it for you. As Celestia comes down from the heavens, she speaks, and I quote,
Twilight Sparkle, my most faithful student and fan.
"Oh, what the fuck? Did you really need her to sound so rapey? That voice is gonna keep me up at night." Sadly, she finds she must go because
Apparently, someone rolled a ball of pear sprites into Molestopia, and it crashed straight into a bowling alley, knocking over all the pins.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
No, it actually killed 8 ponies, but I can see why otherwise that would be pretty funny.
Alright, 3, 2. Oh, fuck you! You know what? Negative 195 to friendship is witchcraft, and 1,000,005 to that rusty pipe. I think we have a loser. Me! Don't get me wrong. Comedy is subjective. If you find this kind of stuff funny, that's fine. Apparently that's the majority of people who've seen it. But you have to admit, it completely ignores everything there is to learn from good comedy. Just one study of Airplane or Clue the movie, and it becomes clear that Friendship is Witchcraft has no idea what it's doing. Or maybe it knows exactly what it's doing and is choosing to go against the grain. No matter what, to me, there are too many unfunny running gags, the characters are obnoxious, and it completely misses the parody. The only compliment I can give is the editing is done nicely, but whoever is in charge of audio needs to learn how to edit. Friendship is Witchcraft is, overall, just awful. I'm the anime reviewer, and I think I'm gonna rethink my life.
Ugh, talk about eye candy.
This isn't funny!